Every coaching program out there is going to hand you off a roadmap and then tell you need to start delegating. But that's where most designers get stuck. I've been working with interior designers on the delegation side of their business for the past 6 years, and I want to be real with you. The systems, the CEO mindset, the pricing, it all matters. It needs to be step one of building the foundations for your business. But if you don't know how to set clear expectations, how to brief a team, how to manage a team, then you're going to stay stuck where you are. So today I want to show you what happens when the team comes with the coaching. We're going to go over the 4 reasons why most designers get stuck when they try to delegate on their own. And I'm going to show you how one of my clients used this shift to feel really confident after just a couple of months having a full team working on her projects. I've spent the last 6 years working with hundreds of designers on the delegation side of their business, and the same 3 problems happen every single time: the systems, the pricing, and the delegation bottleneck. So if any of this resonates with you, don't worry, because you're definitely not alone. What I'm about to say is not to criticize coaches and what they do, because I think their systems work and they really teach you the foundations of building a business. But there's something that I've been seeing. I worked myself with coaches and I've talked to clients of mine who have had coaches in the past, and it's always the same thing. You get the framework, you get the modules, you work through the systems, you work on your pricing, you start thinking like a CEO, and that is all fundamental, and that's something I also teach my clients. But there's a moment in every program where your coach is going to tell you that you need to stop being the bottleneck in everything, you need to start delegating, and you can't be doing everything yourself. But then it's kind of where it ends. So you've set up your business, you have that roadmap, but you have no team to actually help you scale your business. You have to figure out who to hire, where you're going to find them, how you can explain what your expectations are, how to brief them, how to manage them after years of working by yourself. Because everything you've learned for the past few months was more like theory. And now when you're trying to apply it on your own without anyone to walk you through it, that's where the real work starts. And when it comes to delegation, there are 4 things that derail almost every single designer I've talked to, and no program is going to teach you that. The first one is to figure out what kind of support you need in your business right now. Because I know a lot of designers who default to a junior designer or an intern because they're cheaper, and of course I understand when you get started or a few years in, you may not think that you have the budget for an expert or a middleweight designer, but what ends up happening is that instead of freeing up your time, you're going to spend the hours that you're paying that person to help you. You're going to be sitting next to them and you're going to teach them how you want things to be done. You're going to teach them how to use the software. You're going to teach them how to design. You're going to teach them how to draw. So you have not freed up your time. You're just doing the work with someone sitting next to you. So based on my experience, your first hire shouldn't be someone you need to train. If further down the line, you want to have someone, a junior designer that you want to train, it's fine. But as a first hire, the goal is to free up your time. A few weeks ago, I recorded a YouTube video called Intern or Expert, and it tells you in which case you should hire an intern and in which case you should hire an expert. So I highly recommend that you watch this one next. The second thing that you want to consider is getting your project timeline organized so that you can delegate ahead of time. Because for most designers who have been working by themselves for years and who maybe are used to doing things at the last minute, once you onboard someone, you can't be working this way anymore because they need the brief ahead of time, they need to have time to work on the project, and then there needs to be enough time for you to review the project and give any final feedback before the client presentation. So if you're someone who's used to doing things last minute, it's just not going to work. It's going to add more stress, and in the end, you're going to be left doing everything by yourself because you're not going to have time to delegate. The third one is knowing what to share with your team and how. So much of what you do probably still lives in your head, your standards, your expectations, the way you like things done, the little details you don't even realize that you do or that you like. But if it stays in your head and you don't have a clear system showing what your expectations are, then your team is going to come back to you with a million questions, or they're going to come back with work that doesn't match what you're expecting. So then you feel like delegation took a long time, that you paid way too much, and in the end, you're just going to redo everything yourself because you think delegation doesn't work. The fourth one is how you're going to be reviewing the work sent back to you and how to communicate your process. Remember, you're not just learning to delegate, you're also learning to manage a team or just one person. You're still having to manage someone. And those are really two different skills. Most designers have never been taught how to manage. It's definitely something that you learn by doing it, but there are things that I wish I knew when I started managing a team. Back in the day, I was the expert of, you know what, don't worry, I'll just redo it myself. So I redo the part that wasn't right, and then the next time the team keeps doing the same mistake because I never explained what went wrong the first time. I didn't let them do it. I was always micromanaging and they never learned. So yes, you should still spend a little bit of time training your team, even if they are experts, but the clearer you are about your expectations, about your process, and about the feedback, the faster they're going to learn how things need to be done with you. If you can relate to anything that I've been talking up until now, I built a free design business audit quiz that walks you through where all these gaps are in your business and what you should fix first to move ahead. The link is in the description. It's going to take you about 5 minutes to complete, and it's going to give you so much clarity about what you need to do next in your business. Now let's keep going. So here's one thing that I really want you to understand. Delegation is not a switch that will flip the moment that your systems are in place and your pricing works. Delegation is a skill, and like anything, it's a skill that you need to learn and you need to practice. Let me give you a reframe that I teach inside my 3-month program. Delegation for me is not about outsourcing tasks, it's about outsourcing outcomes. You're transferring responsibility for a specific result. And there's a big difference between those two things. You're either hiring a task doer or you're hiring a creative partner. Because outsourcing a task, outsourcing something on your to-do list, means that you're still the one carrying the entire project, you're carrying every decision, everything always comes back to you. So instead of feeling like you freed up time to focus on your zone of genius, you're actually feeling more overwhelmed because now you have multiple people coming to you for answers, and it feels draining and overwhelming. So right now, if you're stuck in a loop of do, redo, fix, I want you to change the way you see things, because the shift really should be about deciding, briefing, and reviewing. So while a task doer is just going to execute whatever you tell them to do, a creative partner is going to understand the outcome and he's going to find the best way to get there. If that person is an expert, it means that they bring skills to the table that you don't have, which is great, because when you hire a task doer, most likely they're going to be doing things at your level. They're not going to be thinking strategically about the project. But when you hire a creative partner, a strategic partner, they have the outcome in mind, and then they're going to think about the best way to get there. If there's a way they can improve the project, if there's a better way to do things, that's how you elevate not only your project, but your entire business. And this is exactly where my program is different, because we don't work just in theory, we work in tandem. And what do I mean by that? We do work on the foundation block first, because systems, pricing, CEO mindset, the role you're stepping into, this is all essential, and you cannot delegate if you do not have the right systems in place. But here's where we do things differently from day one. When we teach you about pricing, we don't teach you how to charge more. We're teaching you how to price for your projects with delegation already baked in. And that's a really important difference, because if your pricing is not set up to support a team, delegation becomes a nice to have when I can afford it. That's exactly where most designers wait, and never delegate a single thing, or they delegate 2 hours every 6 months because they just think that they can never afford it. When delegation is baked into your pricing from day one, the team is part of the project cost, so you can delegate and you stay profitable. And that's the foundation, and we build that with you. And then we keep going after most programs end. First, we help designers figure out what type of support they need in their business right now. Then we show them how to organize their project timelines so they understand when things need to be sent off so that there's enough time for the team to complete everything before the presentation without causing additional stress to the client or the team. Then we teach them what to share, how to share a brief, what makes a brief successful, and how to become more efficient writing a brief. Because a brief is where you set the clear expectations to avoid the team coming back with 10 questions or work that does not match what you were expecting from them. Then we show them how to review the work and how to send feedback in a way that feels clear and time efficient. And the thing I like the most is that we onboard the team as part of their program. So they don't have to look for a place where they're going to find the support that they need. They don't need to go through interviews to see if it's the right fit and then feeling disappointed. They use my team that I've curated for 6 years now to help them elevate their projects and elevate their business. Because my team is a team who already understand interior design workflows. They've worked with my 100+ clients over the years. They know how to plug inside your team and become involved in all your projects based on what your needs are at the time. And that's why I really believe that the delegation needs to happen within the program. And that's exactly how I build the profitable designer method. And actually, if you want to understand a little bit more about the framework that I teach designers on how they can start delegating, I recorded a video a few weeks ago called the Solo to Team Blueprint that walks you through the step-by-step. So I'm going to link it here. And you also have tons of videos about SOPs, hiring, how to brief a team, the post-meeting buffer, CEO time, all of this is on my channel. So subscribe and go look for the video that you need right now in your business. So now let me talk to you about one of my clients. When she came to me, she was really lacking the confidence because she had tried hiring coaches before. She had tried finding templates online. She had tried to improve her systems, but she felt like some of the coaches she worked with that were not even specifically working with designers didn't really understand her business or her niche. So it was very difficult. It was too much theory, and she felt still stuck after having spent thousands of dollars on coaching and templates. And the biggest bottleneck was that her pricing didn't have any delegation baked in. So every time she tried to delegate, she stayed stuck because she was not able to truly free up her time, and she found herself still doing most of the project by herself. So she started my program, the Profitable Designer Method, and within just 2 months, here's what she shared with me. She said that she could easily scope a project accurately now, knowing that delegation was already included in her rate. She felt confident that nothing was missing, whether it was in the pricing or in the scope. She delegated her first few projects to our team, which she felt lightened the workload straight away. And she had the headspace to take on a new project and to offboard a client within the same week. And in her own words, I'm going to read what she said. I'm able to be so much more optimistic and not weighed down by the scale of what needs fixing in my business, because I trust that I have the support and the tools to handle it. And that happened in just 2 months. From years of feeling like she wasn't confident about the pricing, she ended projects not feeling profitable, she could never delegate anything really. So in 2 months, that's a big shift. And that's what working in tandem looks like. You get the team and you get that support to teach you how to improve your systems, yes, but how to become a business owner. So it was not just theory, it wasn't just a roadmap, but it was true support that moved the needle forward. And speaking of doing more without doing more, I have something coming up next month that I'm really excited about. Over the month of June, I'm going to drop a brand new AI series specifically made for interior designers. Some of the things that we're going to be covering, I'm going to teach you how you can prepare for a discovery call and then analyze if there are red flags you need to be aware of before signing that client. I'm going to teach you how to turn a call or a meeting into actionable steps for yourself and for your team. I'm going to also teach you how you can brief your team in no time, how you can send weekly updates to your clients without spending 2 hours of your time going through everything and then writing an email. I'm going to show you how you can take your calls and your meetings and turn them into content ideas that are going to resonate with your audience. In total, we're going to have 8 videos over 1 month, so stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.